reading this morning Parshat Bhaalotcha. The Israelites in the desert are complaining about the manna falling from heaven. They don't like it. They don't like the taste, and specifically, they articulate how good things used to be in Egypt, and they specify certain foods that they used to eat. They say, "Zacharnu et hadaga asher nochal b'Mitzrayim chinam." We remember the fish that we ate in Egypt for free. A little unclear what that means. Et hakishuim ve'et avatachim ve'et hachatzir et habatzalim ve'et hashumim. We remember the cucumbers, the melons, the leeks, the onions, and the garlic. So it's a very interesting list of foods that the Israelites recall that they used to eat and that they miss. And it's particularly complicated due to the generally well-known midrashic idea that the man which fell could taste like any food people wanted it to taste like. It had this magical property. It wasn't supernatural, miraculous enough that it fell from the sky like dew, but it also could taste like whatever you wanted it to taste like. So how could it be, the rabbis wonder, given the idea that the man could taste like anything, that the Israelites were nevertheless complaining about missing certain foods? If the man could taste like anything, then what do you have to complain about? So there's an argument in the Talmud, Masechet Yoma, about what exactly the issue was here, and then we're going to see a comment of the Torah Temimah. So first, the Gemara in Yoma, the Midrash Agadah. Plige ba Rabbi Ami v'Rabbi Asi. Rabbi Ami and Rabbi Asi had an argument about this fact. Chad Amar, Rabbi Ami believed, Tam kol haminim ta'mu b'man. Indeed, every flavor you could taste in the manna. Tam chamesha taminim halalu lo tamu mo. But these 5 flavors actually, the flavors of cucumber, melon, leek, onion, and garlic, those 5 were not tastes that were available in the manna. V'chadamar tam kol haminim tamu ta'man, that actually you could taste all of the flavors in the man, including those 5, but what? Mameshan, Chameshet haminim halalu tamu ta'man v'lo mameshan. But these 5 flavors, again, the cucumbers, melons, leeks, onions, and garlics, while you could taste them, the texture of them you couldn't get. This idea is that actually for every other food that you can think of, you could taste the taste and also feel the mouthfeel, the texture of these foods you could also get, except for these 5. These 5, you could only get the taste but not the texture. So it's a really interesting, kind of fun argument here. Now, there's another Agadah, which is not quoted directly here, which is that according to this either opinion, there's something that's different about these 5 foods. Whether it's according to Rabbi Ami that you couldn't taste their tastes, or it's according to Rabbi Asi that you could taste their taste but not their texture, something is unique about these 5. So what is unique about them? The Torah Temimah notes that there's a different Agadah which says as follows. Haim kashim leubarot uleminikot. These 5 foods are known to be damaging to nursing mothers and to young infants, or maybe to fetuses in utero. Very interesting idea that some of these foods, and some of these make sense, onions, garlics, leeks, we consider those to be, today we'd say they're sharp foods. They're very powerful foods for for the body, for healing, but they're sharp, they're powerful. So there was a note, we'd say that less about melons and cucumbers to my knowledge, but here the 5 are being put together. And the understanding is that they are all potentially damaging to pregnant mothers, nursing mothers, infants, maybe fetuses as well. So that's why you would not, it could make sense that God did this miracle in a way that these potentially damaging tastes or textures would not be available, so as to protect these categories of people. So there you go. Now, the Torah Temimah now notes an interesting thing, that there is another midrash, not cited here, cited elsewhere in the Gemara in Ketubot, which discusses another food item which is damaging to nursing or pregnant mothers, and that is dagim kitanim, small fish. And if you recall, these 5 food items are all in the second part of the verse. The first part of the verse was the Israelites saying, "We remember the fish which we ate in Egypt," and the adjective there was chinam, that they ate them free. There's another argument in the Gemara about what does that mean. Is this a reference to actual fish, or is it a reference to sexual relationships? According to the idea that it was really about actual fish, there's another midrashic idea that God would essentially provide small fish to be easily caught and eaten by the Israelites. So if that is true, that God made these small fish available to the Israelites, and it's in the same verse that the Israelites say, "We remember the fish that we used to eat," it also seems to thereby being implying that they're no longer eating fish, or at least the taste of fish. So why? Torah Temimah asks the question, Havale lachshov shagam tam dagim lo tamu baman. It seems to be that they should have said that also the flavor or taste of fish they didn't have in the manna from heaven. Me'oto atam shelo tamu chamishet haminim. For the same reasons that we said before, that just like they didn't have the cucumbers, melons, leeks, onions, and garlics because it was damaging to nursing or pregnant mothers, so too small fish. Why did this Gemara in Yoma, the argument between Rabbi Ami and Rabbi Asi, only consider the 5 food items and not the 6 of fish, which is in the same verse? Good question. And now the Torah Temimah notes something very interesting. V'hine b'Rashi b'pasuk zeh. If you look at the great 11th century commentator Rashi, he brings the same midrash on this verse, and he says, he quotes the Gemara in Yoma, the argument, and the Sifri, this other idea, this other midrash as well, that the man would change into whatever food you wanted, but, says Rashi, mipnei shehen kashim leminikot, because it's damaging to nursing mothers. But rather, he does not exactly quote the language of the Gemara in Yoma, which uses the term chameshet haminim, these 5 foods. He says, the manna could taste like anything, chutz me'elu, other than these. These, according to the Torah Temimah, seems to be a reference maybe not just to the 5, but to the 6, including the fish, meaning everything in the verse. Hine barashi pasuk zeh b'makom chutz me'elu chameshet haminim katuv rak chutz me'elu. He says, he doesn't say, for what the Gemara in Yoma says, that that the man could taste like anything other than these 5. He says they could taste like anything other than these, meaning maybe everything in the verse. But the Gemara and the Sifri explicitly say the 5 types of food. The Torah Temimah ends this comment with a tzarech iyun. He says we need to understand and study this further, which means is a way of saying I don't fully understand exactly why the Gemara and Yoma and the Sifri would only consider the 5 food items and not the 6. Maybe Rashi is considering the 6, but what is it about fish which is considered not considered as one of the 5, especially since we know, as the Torah Temimah noted, that the Gemara in Ketubot says that small fish were also damaging to the health of nursing mothers. It seems pretty clear that it should have been considered. So it's a very good question. I think if you read the flow of the verse, it does seem that for there to be a former and a latter parts of the verse. Zacharnu et hadaga asher nochal b'Mitzrayim chinam. That's kind of part 1. We remember the fish that we used to eat in Egypt. And then it says, there's kind of the second part. Et hakeshuim ve'et havatachim ve'et hachatzir ve'et habetzalim ve'et hashumim. Cucumber, melon, leek, garlic, onion and garlic. Perhaps the sages read the verse in these two different parts and see the et as a sort of constituting a list. Maybe. But it's an interesting question that Torah Temimah asks, as he often does. Good learning with you as always. More next week.